is for you to find it.
Yeah. Checking my audio is balanced.
Alright. This is episode 4. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we've done so far, we've done the Dragon Maid one. We did. What's the first one we did?
2019.
Oh,
No, that was the second one we did. The first one was Dragon Maid. Because we did 2019 instead of doing Screaming at Space Wizards.
yeah.
And this is only part 2 because we sort of died after part 1.
Yeah, it just went on for too long.
Okay, go on forever too.
So we're all ready now, yes?
Yeah, I'm streaming my.
Anyone truly be ready to watch?
No, one cannot be ready.
I'm streaming my side now.
Hello, welcome to the Brain Block Podcast, and I actually fucking nailed it that time. Good job, Joe. And today we're going to be finishing off our conversation on Sword Art Online by going over Sword Art Online Season 2, or known as 2, and we will be talking about the AR movie.
Yeah.
Which I totally didn't watch on Netflix.
Oh god.
Alright, so
Yeah,
I'm your host,
Netflix.
Joe.
Yep.
We also have our host, Harry.
Hello.
Alright, let me
And our
provide you a...
recurring guest that is a host that refuses to acknowledge his hostiness, Scrappy.
Oh man.
Fight me.
I don't... Yeah, sure, I'm a host. Not at all.
You're a host to a gold symbiote.
You might as well be a host at this point.
He's a fucking host. Will we ever get a guest? Find out next time on Brainblock Podcast Z.
Or the answer is no.
No,
Right,
no, the
second
answer's
season.
no.
Okay, first episode Sword Art Online 2, The Quickening. Involved, well... I'm not ready for this. Goodness gracious.
Oh yes, I also need to kick
Okay,
off the
remember
music.
all that fantasy sword stuff that we had other past 26 episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah, forget all that. We're about guns now.
Yeah.
Yes, guns! And Kirito still finds a laser sword. Speaking of laser swords, this is secretly the Star Wars now.
Oh god, no.
This is the closest thing we're doing to a Star Wars because
No
of a
one will
certain
ever
villain.
be ready for that.
Yeah. In time.
Okay.
In time. The
Let
Yeah.
me just read the synopsis of the first episode from Wikipedia.
Okay, did anyone actually share the stream?
I mean,
Yes, that is the wrong answer.
You cut out. What would you say?
Did anyone share the stream?
I will.
Okay, fair enough.
And also we need to run an audio check, just make sure everything's good.
Yeah. I feel like we might have been too quick on the draw on this.
Ah, like Kirito and his fucking
that.
game-breaking hack skills that he got from cheating by just owning the source code.
Yeah, well...
My secret power is that I'm the protagonist.
Everyone. Alright, we have notified our audience on our Discord.
Alright.
Our audience of no one.
Yeah. Well... Oh well, whatever.
Anyway, the first episode, The World of Guns. A new virtual reality game known as Gun Gale Online, or GTO, is promoted via streamed broadcast, featuring a top-ranked player named Sexseed. In a bar, a cloaked man nicknamed Death Gun fires a bullet from his pistol through the video screen, causing Sexseed Zexseed to suddenly convulse and disconnect.
Was that sexy?
Joey. A month later, Kazuto Kirito, and Asuna Yuki, Asuna, hang out at a park, discussing the differences between a real and virtual world. 4 hours earlier, Kirito met with Seijiro Kikuoka, a member of the virtual division of the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications, Japan's virtual watch force, basically, in the show.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kikuoka, who reveals that Tamotsu Shigemura, the real-life persona of Zexseed, died of acute heart failure a few days after his avatar was shot by Death Gun. That's the villain's weapon name.
Yeah,
One
still.
and the same.
Yeah.
Also known as the Black Star 45.
Because I'm not a gun expert.
Yeah,
Kikuoka,
neither
believing
are
that
they.
Death Gun. I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, they're not exactly freaking weapons experts themselves.
Yeah.
They took art liberties. Trust me.
Believing that Death Gun is specifically targeting professional GGO players, begs Kirito to once again take up the role. Screw me. Begs
Maybe
Kazuto to once again take up the role of quote-unquote Kirito and investigate the situation. In the present, Kirito and Asuna talk about how the vertical structure of Aincrad and Sword Art Online represents the axis of time and the plane of space. And that last part I do not remember at all, because it probably didn't mean anything.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Long story short, swords out, guns in.
Yeah.
So has to go traveling at the government's behest into another virtual reality world where people can die, allegedly, can die for real, allegedly, and he is hilariously out of his element.
Yeah, it's like, and it throws that out of the window as well because when I saw like, oh, it's gonna be a gun game, Kirito's gonna be completely out of his element in this, and like has to
And
learn
then
from.
suddenly he brings a knife to a gunfight.
Pretty much, it's like.
And then all of the guns suck compared to the knife somehow because fucking video games.
Just like, oh yeah, oh my god, I hate it. It's like, instead of just like having him have to learn from this new character, oh no, I'll just get another sword and just deflect bullets like really good, and be like a Jedi or some crap.
Yeah, no, honestly, he just goes full Jedi and just deflects bullets with a laser sword. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's, oh god. Anyways, getting ahead of ourselves.
Well, not really. That's
Well, I know, but like, we gotta like work our way to this.
we are ahead.
Yeah, we haven't even like introduced the new main, like one of the new characters yet.
Well, you see, she's hot. She's a hot single female in his area.
Yeah, because even though he's like virtually married, let's get a harem going because we need one apparently.
I don't really like talking about Sinon, Shino, whatever they call her.
Shion.
Second episode, and it's boring. That's what I remember when I watched the show on Toonami. It's just really dull.
Yeah.
Kirito buys a motorbike.
Yeah, it takes a little bit for this series to get going.
I'm pretty sure before you read it, I can guarantee that the episode basically boils down to Kirito buys a motorbike in the middle of the air and then signs up for a tournament. I swear that's the entire episode.
Oh god.
It is not. It's just Sinon and her group of jobbers in game trying to basically do shooter stuff. It's like the majority of the episode, it's just kind of dry. I don't know. That's the thing about Gun Gale's world. It's like if
It's so cool. If only they spent 5 minutes exploring it.
Kawahara, like intended the bland color scheme to be a kind of a joke at actual video game shooters, then I'd believe him.
Mm.
If you told me that, I'd believe you.
Yeah.
Usually, I consider just the arena, the deathmatch arenas they have, just to be a step down from the visuals of the prior season.
That's fair.
Like the art of SAO, the show, was one of its strong suits, and this is just kind of bland.
See, he tried to make it bland, but then he also put all this really cool architecture and environmental in there, and then just ignored it. And it's like,
Yeah, battery out. To get a new controller.
Seen this show in several years, so maybe I'm just really remembering like the desert and like nothing else. I know
there
they had
was a
more stuff,
desert,
but
and then there was a city, and then there was the battle royale before it got popular. But the show is in the future, so fuck it. Maybe they were onto something.
I guess.
okay, so provide some context of who Sinon. Screw me. Yeah,
Maybe
Sinon, or I'm gonna call her Sinon for just that's her avatar name, but that's what I'm gonna call her.
Yeah, scene on whatever.
I think it's Shion.
No, it's not she.
Ino is her real name, I think.
Yeah, there's like scene on or something.
Yes, Sinon
Xenon
is her avatar
Corporation.
name.
Yeah, the avatar name.
I'm just gonna call her Sinon because
It's just
I'm that guy.
easier. It's easier. I mean, like Kirito's real name is like Kazuto or something, and we haven't been calling him that, so.
I mean, he hasn't been calling him that,
Yeah.
even in real life.
The only person that calls him that is like his sister or whatever. Or like
I mean, not
cousin or
even.
whatever. I don't even know anymore.
His not blood relative female that is in his area.
I don't even care anymore.
It's just done.
Seriously though, what is it with all the hot singles in his area?
He's a generic male anime protagonist. That's why.
Ah yes. The
Male
solution to all
protagonist. How
our
come I don't have anyone?
We're all the protagonists of our own stories. It's fine.
Trust me, Tinder is a plot development.
God. Anyways,
Some context about
Moving
Sinon.
yeah, like we need to know what
Okay,
our deal
so-
is.
Alright, let's talk about her
She-
backstory
Okay,
then.
she plays. Yeah, let's get into that mess.
Mm.
That's one way to
Okay,
put
so
it.
she plays Gun Gale Online on a regular. It's her.
That's her game.
Yeah.
I hesitate to call it a hobby, but some for a childhood trauma she suffered when she was a little girl. She and her family were at a bank,
Yeah, I think
which
so.
was in the
Yes.
midst of
Ah.
yeah, it was in the midst of suffering an armed robbery. The would-be robber had a gun and was threatening one of the bank tellers. In the struggle, Sinon, then Shino, was able to get the gun and shoot the robber.
But it
She
traumatized
successfully
her
saved
life
everyone's
when she was,
lives,
like,
but
4.
she was obviously traumatized from having to kill a guy,
Yeah.
and that has left her with a deathly fear of guns in real life. And because this is anime, she decides to just deal with her problems by playing a game with guns where the players are in virtual reality and can probably feel the hits.
Yeah.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, if you go by the end of season 1, it's numbed significantly. Like, it fucking hurts, but
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt like being shot. Because that would be
mean-
traumatic.
I mean, they
Nonetheless, she's getting a first-person view of actual in-game violence. Like, it's not like she's playing, well, Mega Man like Harry.
Yeah, and failing. But yeah, I don't know. Xenon's backstory is definitely, there's definitely more to her character than, like, most of the other ones. There's just pretty much there to exist. So I appreciate that. There's a bit more to her than the others. I don't know.
Also kind of a dick.
A little bit.
Eh, less so than other characters, honestly.
She's probably one of the better characters overall. Um, Even then, she's not amazing, but by this show's standards, she's fine.
Hmm.
Gary just has like burning apathy.
Yeah.
Should probably get a doctor to check that.
I mean, I get the idea of like having a wanna like just play a shooting game to try and get over her fear, because it's like let's like you want to get over something. The best way, I guess, is just to do it in a
Punch
way. Just do it. Go through it in a way that doesn't actually hurt you, I guess.
Hmm.
I don't know. I get what they were trying to do.
Yeah, and her classmates pulled out a gun on her. It was loaded, but
Yeah, you don't do
pulled out a
that.
gun on her.
Like, that's
He has
that.
issues.
That
Xenon
is
A
has
dick
issues,
move
and
is still a dick fucking move.
yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm going to say, well, yeah, approaching this plot line through an American perspective is interesting. She would still be traumatized in this country, but she would probably be hailed as a hero given how we are.
Yeah. God.
But the problem with your heroes is they get forgotten as soon as they're crowned.
Hmm.
Except for Batman, he's just awesome.
Because he's the Batman.
And doesn't use guns though, except all this time to use guns.
And of course, the Bat gun.
Oh my god.
But yeah, moving on.
We lost the plot. Okay, Xenon plays games plays games as a coping mechanism, has one friend voiced by Johnny Young Bosch, kind of a creeper, but she hangs around him. Because he's like the only person who doesn't seem to antagonize her on a regular basis.
Hmm.
Okay, so she's playing. Kirito has to basically gets drafted into playing detective in-game, GGO specifically. Lo and behold, they meet up, and because Kirito's a newbie, she begrudgingly takes him under her wing.
Oh yeah. Also, thing because they do.
And I say him, but Kirito has been gifted a female body in the Avatar world.
There's literally no
Humans are
reason.
assholes.
Yeah, there's literally no reason for this other than shenanigans, because it's like, oh, I have a female avatar for some reason. Let's play along with this and
Well,
act.
no, it's not even a female avatar because it was brought in at the beginning of the show where the guy's like, "Oh, I will buy your avatar because it's so fucking rare because you don't get your avatar."
I don't know.
That's the reasoning. Hold on.
But it's like
Fuck this DLC.
that happens, and Kirito's just like, oh, I may as well just play along with this, and pretends he's a girl when he meets up with Xenon or whatever. Just like,
I'm not sure if it's. I'm not sure if it's a female avatar or just a very androgynous looking avatar, but it's full Xenon.
Yeah, pretty much.
It didn't stop the showrunners from having Kirito go skinny dipping way down the line because fan service apparently. Just gonna, all right,
I don't
show.
remember that. Not gonna lie.
Definitely do.
Yeah.
Okay, so they meet up. Xenon, Kirito, I guess, just goes along with the, yeah, I'm a girl, because apparently he thinks that no one will help him otherwise for some reason, even though he
There's
she
like-
saved a bunch of
She'll do
people,
in my
like,
harem.
Yeah.
He saved a bunch of people. Like, he should be a national hero.
I suppose it is still technically a small, like a specific group of people. Um, but
Every
still,
VR MMO player should know who Kirito is, though.
I suppose. Or maybe she doesn't know
He's the beater, remember?
maybe she doesn't know
he's a
if
cheating freaking beta player.
maybe she doesn't know if Kirito was a guy or a girl. I don't know. I'm pulling at straws, but still.
I mean, surely should be able to tell by his fucking voice.
Well, no, because he puts like a really bad girly voice on.
Like 3 times when he's trying to get free shit.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch this. I'm not rewatching this season, but I should, because it's kind of a blur.
I mean,
That's fair. I mean, there are better things to do than rewatch SAO.
yeah,
like
watching a much better show, like Beastars.
God.
One word. Netflix.
Huh. Oh man.
Okay, so Kirito is going to investigate these Death Gun
What's
murders
going on again?
committed by Death Gun with his mighty weapon, the Death Gun.
Good.
And he is going to...
Oh my god, it's like a
He's
gun,
going-
but it kills.
Oh man. It's like it's a gun.
It's a gun with the magical power of killing people.
Kirito decides that he and Sinon will enter this tournament, like Joey said earlier, a battle royale called the Bullet of Bullets. I don't know why it's called that.
It's Bob.
This this PvP tournament. Oh my! And this is around.
PvP
This is like
tournament, Bob.
Ah crap.
this is like episode 4, and I think is this the episode where Kirito says the line?
What
This is-
line?
Like his aiming with a projectile weapon, and he somehow hits a target, and none of these other
Oh
Whereas
yeah, that
GGO
stupid
players do
thing. That. Oh my god. That. Cause like you can never have.
Wait, are you talking about the one where he skips past the thing and wins all of the money?
might have been it.
Something like that. Yeah, mini game challenge where like you have to
Yeah,
avoid
yeah.
the shots.
He's just like, I'm just awesome.
It's like
For fuck's sake.
it's I predicted the prediction or some crap.
Predicted the
pre-predicted
prediction line. That's the one thing I remember about this arc.
Yeah, that's like yeah. Oh my god. I mean,
Fucking stupid.
it's so stupid. Like it's just like even if Kirito is in a genre he has like no prior experience with, he's gonna just be the best that no one ever was anyway, because
You see, it's Kirito. He just is that good.
he
Why? Because fuck you. He's good.
that's pretty
He's
much.
just better than you. Yeah, good.
It's
Play
like
Dark Souls on hard mode.
that kind of scene would have been great for a protagonist that actually had development, where it's like, oh, he like sucks balls the first time he does it, but like by the end of the series when he's learned a lot of things and he like aces it like it's cake. Like if this show cared about developing characters, then it could have been like that, but no.
Let it be known that while Kirito is in pretty much every episode of this arc, I don't really consider him the main character.
Yeah,
just kind of-
Sinon is the main character of this, let's be fair. He's just kind of... Kirito is
Kirito's
just...
still handling most of the action because, you know, man, but
Yeah.
Sinon gets the lie. She gets the entirety of the development in this arc.
Yeah, for better or worse, I guess.
Joe's just there to provide shifties, even though he is a taken man.
Yeah. Because they ship tease a lot with, like, everyone in this show, and it's just so bad.
Yeah, if you're wondering where like Klein, Lisbeth, and all the others are, Alfheim.
Yeah, they
That's it.
don't they don't have much of a role in this arc. Wait, you know what? Just kill me. I need to get my life back. So where are we?
Oh,
I was distracted by dialogue, so I have no fucking clue. I think the last thing I remember was Kirito was just better at everything because he's just so sexy, isn't he?
Yeah, it comes back to the whole thing of like, um,
I'm
I
a
mean,
Peter.
so, well that too, but
Watch me beat my mate.
it's like, oh, I'm just instead of like learning from this new character like how to play a shooter. I don't know. Let's just have me have like a lightsaber and just be stupid good with that instead, and just turn out like to be the best in this game because I'm the only one that uses a sword.
Pokemon master.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll bring a knife to a gunfight and make knives and make guns redundant. It's like, oh my god, shut up. Be a good
well,
character
since
for
Kirito
5 seconds.
Yeah. I mean,
Kirito is. What was I gonna say?
No, it's not.
I didn't even finish.
oh crap.
You seem finished.
Silly that they bring up guns and then Kirito largely just relies on the weapon. The only weapon he knows how to use, but
Yeah.
whatever. I'll accept it. He's on a government mission. He doesn't have time to play around. Use what you know.
I suppose, but it's just annoying for me from a storytelling perspective when you purposely go to a genre he's not familiar with. But I don't see the point of that when he can just use the sword anyway. So like, what was even the point?
Like he never used a gun in this arc. He does, just not well. Like
Yeah.
No,
credit where credit is due.
takes
He kind of
pot
sucks with
shots
his
off
aim.
the back of a motorbike or some shit a couple of times.
Mm.
He uses the sword because he knows he sucks with a gun.
Yeah. I suppose on some levels I can understand the what they were going for, because if choreographed well, having a team of like a sword user and a sniper could make for some cool action sequences, but from what I remember, that doesn't really happen, so yeah.
Sorry, I'm just mesmerized by your Mega Man 10 gameplay.
Well, my crappy
You
Mega
destroy
Man,
everything in a kitchen sink.
my crappy Mega Man gameplay
really
where I
destroy-
just suck. I suck. I'm terrible at Mega Man.
What do you mean we're distracted? We're always this incompetent at our jobs.
I mean,
Fight me?
this is also still SAO, so who cares?
Yeah. Well, the one person that watches our content.
I mean, I think Sylph's watching my stream. Maybe. I
He's
saw.
probably
it
got it
open.
muted just for the Mega Man and it's got music in the background.
Oh god.
It's not self-deprecation, it's...
Yeah, Sylph's still her.
Yeah. Hi, Self!
Hello.
Wow, Self, when did you get in the call?
Oh god.
Mm.
That'd be funny. Anyways, keep on forgetting, we're getting sidetracked now. Where are we in
Yeah,
terms of, like,
where are we?
plot?
In 4 and 5. Alright, they sign themselves up for the Bullet of Bullets. Kirito is just traveling around the city, because that's actually where GGO's hub is when they're not in the desert of blandness.
Yeah.
Joe has been given a beginner firearm, according to Wikipedia, an FN-57 semi-automatic pistol. Like, they give him the most gun of all time. And
I mean,
episode
yeah.
5 comes a revelation. Kirito encounters Death Gun briefly, and he is asked, "Are you the real deal?" And this triggers a memory of a battle so brutal, so violent and bloody that we never even saw it in season 1 because it didn't exist.
Yeah, I was talking
Because
about.
it was retconned.
I remember talking about this in the last stream where it's like they bring up these backstories that happened in Aincrad, in later seasons or whatever, and it's just like, why? If this was so important, why wasn't it shown before? Like,
Retcons.
yeah, there's retcons have a stigma, and I don't think they're always bad. But this is an instance where it's just, oh my god, this is not the way to do this.
I don't care all that much because Kirito spent like 2 years in that game, and of course we're gonna see some things that we're gonna learn. What am I trying to say? They can't show everything in those 2 years without going for like 2 whole seasons of that.
Well, I mean,
And I don't think we want.
I feel like there
Yeah,
should have
but
been.
SAO1 was just them not acknowledging the plot that they were trying to establish.
I mean, the problem with that is that the current series, they're spending 2 whole seasons in one game. So if they can do that, they could have at least just done 1 season in Aincrad, I think.
That would have been 2 seasons of early SAO writing in Aincrad.
I'd rather have.
Like, can you handle that?
No, well, here's the thing with that. I'd rather have that and have and yes, I'd rather have them do that and just cancel is it Alfheim, the fairy one.
But you'll never see him not fuck his kind of not actually his sister.
Good. I don't want to see that.
It's a good thing we did as well as not see that.
God. Yeah. So Alfheim Online.
Face bleeding.
If they just removed that arc entirely and just made Aincrad 1 full season, I think it would have been better, honestly.
Apologies, my dogs were getting rowdy. Yeah, Harry, sorry, but no, you can delay Alpine, but you cannot destroy it.
Yeah, I guess.
Too powerful.
It's too powerful for you.
Wasn't
It's
say.
over, Anakin.
Yeah, we could have had. It is kind of amusing that we're getting more, in-game action in Aincrad in this season, showing us the stuff Kirito probably should have been doing on screen in season 1, like dealing with Laughing Coffin.
Yeah.
I mentioned Laughing Coffin because that's the guild Death Gun used to be a part of, because he was an Aincrad player too. Dun,
Dun 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 dun.
So Clyde's in a flashback, so that gives it points.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything, but
Hey, he's there.
should be. Kirito has a sudden bout of PTSD because he kind of just kind of dawned on him. Holy crap! I killed a bunch of player killers when I was in Aincrad.
Like, does this make me just as
So, yeah,
bad or whatever?
Yeah, I mentioned him not getting development, but that's not actually true. He does have this.
Yeah, it's like
So
he's
yes.
not void of development, but it's just it's just so easy to make fun of his character overall because it's just not handled well.
Running subplot of Kirito just kind of having to deal with his sins of the past.
Yeah.
And he gets an admittedly heartfelt moment with the nurse who basically watches over him when he's in VR stasis. who groped him at the start. Because,
Oh yeah,
of course.
right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that was a thing that happened because.
But to be fair, that's just because it's anime.
Yeah, but like.
Yeah, but his girlfriend got assaulted last season. Let's make a joke about that.
Okay.
That yeah.
I'd have to think of one, but okay.
Show
I'm not
like,
going to think of one. I'm not in that bad taste.
Show just has a problem with mood whiplash.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't know how to structure the emotion a lot of the time. Damn it.
Okay, so guns. Kirito's not good with them. Sinon is a sniper, so she is good with them.
And there's a lot of butt shots
I'll
because
roughen a
of
dub
course.
insert your Yoko Littner jokes here.
And there's a lot of butt shots because of course there is.
Yeah, there have been butt shots since the first season.
Yeah.
Last season was Sugawa's ass online. This season it's Sinon's ass online. Kill
Good.
me.
Good.
It could be worse.
I mean, I guess.
It can always get worse.
It can always
You can
get
see Kirito
worse.
naked swimming. Oh wait, that happened.
No.
That's... Okay, so what happens? Tournament guns. This whole arc is like only. Arc is 14 episodes out of a season of 24 episodes.
Oh shit, yeah, I forgot there's a second arc where they go back to Alfhelm. Oh god, we're gonna be here a while.
Yeah, they basically structured this exactly like season 1, except, it's not as bad as season 1.
Yeah, the funny thing, the second half of season 2 actually, unlike season 1, I think the second half of season 2 is better than the first half.
It's hard
For the
to make
most
that sort
part.
of call for me because
For the most part. I mean, we'll get to it. I don't want to blow my load now.
yeah, you got to seduce a woman first.
I knew a joke was gonna come out of that. Oh god. Anyways.
Gross, I'm just thinking of chapter 16.5 now. Anyway, guns. I hate my life.
We can say guns, but it won't summon the Americans.
Damn it. This boss is kicking my ass.
You can say War of England, then it will summon the Americans.
So the tournament begins. Kirito and Sinon and I guess whatever team members they have, if they did they even have team members? Doesn't matter. They got separated. Kirito and Sinon are basically on their own, dealing with all the other players, including Death Gun.
Death Gun.
Like fucking Edgelord would have been a better name.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sounds like Darth Vader, and he looks like Darth Vader.
But not.
And Kirito's got a
But
lightsaber.
he isn't as well developed as Darth Vader.
You mean Death Gun's developed? Lol.
I mean,
not?
that's my point.
yeah, that's what I was getting at. Damn it. I like how the whole thing before we move on, I guess. I like how the one thing I think I mentioned before where they seem to struggle finding stakes in the later seasons. So to try and
finding stakes already.
yeah, right. But like, the way to try and get around it with this is like, oh, let's have this Death Gun guy and like have him find a way to kill people in the game, and it's like, I mean,
Kills
fair
them
enough.
in real life.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Gotta find some way to make stakes, I guess.
There's more stakes here than in the Mother's Rosario arc or the little mini arc they had in between those
I'm dead.
before that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kirito and Sinon get screwed over. Basically, Defcon is just too strong. Sinon has a panic attack, I think, and Kirito and her have to hide out in a cave for like an episode. And was it an episode or 2 episodes?
I don't remember that at all, to be honest. I remember a big fight scene, but I don't
It feels
remember.
like 2 episodes because they're in it between the end and beginning of an episode. But then a big fight happens at the end of the second episode.
The thing that annoys me about this arc is that it's really good on paper, but it's just so damn boring and forgettable that I just don't care.
I mean, I'll read the manga and I'll tell you if it's actually good on paper or not.
Fair enough. There's a lot of
No intention to do that.
Yeah, I don't care enough to do that either. But there's something good here on on a foundation level. Like Xenon is traumatized by guns and trying to get over it. And all that. Death Gun's like killing people by shooting people in game, and it like kills them in real life. It's like there's some good stuff here, like on a foundation level, but it's just the way it's done is just either just boring or forgettable, and I just don't care that much. I don't know.
Only heroes of any actual nominal importance in this arc are Kirito, who we've established him, and Sinon, who's just kind of there.
Yeah, yeah.
Gosh, you know, I was hoping to actually be more positive in this video, and I am failing.
I mean,
Oh shit! I think I just soft locked my game.
if I can give it Gun Girl Online credit for this, I do think the general story, or I think the general story is better done than Aincrad and Alfhelm, but
Yeah, I soft locked my game.
the entertainment factor is just not there. That's my issue with it. It's just the entertainment factor is just gone.
It's the oddest thing. I think Sword Art Online 2 in general, getting ahead of myself here, but I think in general it's probably better written in the first season, but I think the first season is oddly enough more not watchable, but even if it's from a train wreck perspective.
Season 1 is definitely like a lot of the, I feel like a lot of the time it's so bad it's like hilarious kind of situation, whereas this one is just
Actually competent, but not great in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's like there's nothing super bad about this arc in particular. We'll talk about the others later, but it's just like I don't know. It's not so bad it's good, but it's also not so good that it's like great, I guess. I don't know. It's in a weird in-between. I'm never gonna beat this guy.
I stand by my statement that what was I gonna say? I stand by my belief that Alfheim is the low point.
Yeah, Alfheim is the worst part.
But
Alfheim is the worst. That's the worst arc by far.
Yeah, we're out of the burning woods, but it's a lot of wasteland to cover, to trek in the meantime.
Yeah. Anyways, suppose we should just move on with the story at this point.
In a cave, they learn some things about each other. They
They
snuggle
learn that
and
they deeply love each other and need each other, and completely forget that one of them is sort of cyber married, but not legally. It's fine. What happens in Gun Gale stays in Gun Gale. It's not like it was in an important
Alfheim
place,
can
like
watch
reality or Elfheim.
Yeah, it's
Like, yeah, do it on television.
the funny thing is that during the tournament or whatever, everyone in Alfhelm is watching Kirito and Sinon, so they know what's going on.
Oh yeah. Well, no, they
Yeah.
stopped to go for they stopped for a drink for 5 minutes. They went down the pub.
Oh man.
And let's see. Yes. So while they're in the cave of plot development, Kirito comes to the realization that Death Gun is actually two people. An in-game player who actually, does the in-game stuff, and then a second co-conspirator who actually does the murder.
Mm.
Utilizing some kind of,
Finally.
I pronounce, suits. I'm not even gonna bother. It's in a syringe. People die.
Yeah.
It's in a syringe.
It's like they inject people with some poison or something. I don't know.
So now
Anyway.
Kirito and Sinon have to. The players in the actual battle royale are getting whittled down. So Kirito and Sinon are among the last people there. Kirito will be the decoy. Sinon will provide a surprise attack so they can actually win.
Mm.
Us the final showdown.
Indeed.
Those that properly take place in GGO are called Bullet of a Phantom and the companion episode Phantom Bullet. And yes, those are the names. They sound exactly the same except not. In the end, Kirito has to basically face Death Gun alone.
But the fight
But surprise,
kind of
yeah.
doesn't happen.
Surprise, surprise. Death Gun has a sword too.
But his sword is metal and it's made out of the rarest material in the game, and it's just so much cooler than Kirito's.
Yeah.
My sword's bigger than your sword.
I don't honestly remember this fight too well.
Just know that Death Gun has a metal blade, a literal metal blade. Kirito has a laser sword, and somehow it doesn't cut through. The laser does not cut through the metal. Important because we're focusing on Sinon just being on a cliff, counting her fingernails. Again, Kirito dies, but not really. And hell happens in the show.
I don't remember.
I have a Wikipedia list. Let me just go through this.
I'm drawing a blank on most of these things right now.
During the final part of this arc, Kirito recognizes Death Gun as Red Eye Jaja, formerly second in command of Laughing Coffin. Cool.
Which is not explained in the show.
Let's see here. Sinon creates a bullet path as a distraction, and Kirito pulls out his pistol to fire at Jaja. What's his name? Death Gun, making the latter vulnerable from using his camouflage mantle. This allows Kirito to use all of his willpower to slice Death Gun in half, but Death Gun reassures him that their battle is not yet over before he dies in-game. Kirito and Sinon reveal their real names to each other, and they agree to end a bullet of bullets by committing an in-game double suicide using a grenade, and Wikipedia says they agree, they do not. Sinon pulls the grenade out impromptu.
Yeah.
They are both crowned the winners of Bullet of Bullets. After logging out, Sinon is visited by Kyoji, her friend voiced by Johnny Young Bosch I mentioned earlier, who makes romantic advances towards her. She's been refusing him because, she's got stuff to deal with mentally.
Yeah.
Kyoji pulls out a syringe and reveals himself as the second accomplice of Death Gun.
Oh right, I forgot about that.
And holy crap.
Because
Her and Kirito breaks into her apartment and attacks Kyoji. Let's see what else happens. Kyoji manages to inject Kirito in a test with a syringe. but Shino bashes Kyoji unconscious with a stereo record player, hardcore, before finding out that Kirito had a hospital electrode still stuck on his chest, which protected him from the syringe. And they all lived happily ever after.
Da 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 da. Is that the end of
But
the arc
wait,
now?
they didn't.
Let's see. Effectively, like,
I
guess surviving a murder attempt and being assaulted by your one real-life friend made Sinon a better person. She's
Indeed.
finally gotten over her fear of guns. Somehow.
By using guns.
Yes. Oh god. It's like
And then
yes,
they go...
violence.
my friend betrayed me. I'm good with guns now. It's fine. It's fine, guys.
It's over, Anakin. I have the assault rifle.
What the hell?
Kirito and Sinon, I'm calling her that, not calling her Shino. Kirito and Sinon, go to Agil, how do you pronounce his name? Agil,
I don't know.
the one voiced by Patrick Seitz.
I don't remember
With the
any of
axe.
these. I don't remember any of these characters.
Black guy. His real name's
yes, the
Andrew
black
Gill
guy,
Mills.
my favorite
I'm calling him Andrew.
All right. Is it the bartender dude or
They're
whatever?
going,
Yes,
they go
it's
to the
bartender
cafe.
blacksmith.
Right. Yeah, I know. I remember him.
Yes. Okay, so Kirito, Sinon go to the bar, and Kirito, I
Ah.
guess. Kirito and his friends, Asuna and Rika. Is that Elizabeth? I think that is.
Probably.
Introduce Sinon to the former employee at the post office, not a bank. It was a post office, my bad.
Oh.
During the robbery, and they reveal she was pregnant at the time, and her daughter is alive and healthy thanks to Sinon, and so she's able to finally find some closure for that.
Okay.
Is the
That's
end
fine.
of Gun Gale Online.
Da. And now Xenon's a part of the main group.
And she'll never be spoken of or to again.
No, she's still there. It's just.
Just
Yeah.
there, like Klein.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
she
yeah.
is a potted plant going, wow, I would totally love to be romantically involved with this guy along with these 12 other women.
That's what.
Klein's here.
God, I hate. It's annoying. It's like when you have a character that has some actual potential, like Xenon, her arc ends, but she sticks around for the rest of the show, but doesn't.
Or
It's
just like-
just there.
I would just like to put this into perspective. They're in Japan, even if they're only on Japanese servers. Like, the odds of him being able to be in walking distance of all these hot singles in his area is just really fucking small. there's
Yeah.
anime, and then there are no hot singles in my area.
I mean,
There's
Actually,
Zazie
no,
live
there is
then.
a hot single in my area. And she's not single
Hey.
actually, so no, there are no hot singles in my area because she's not single. She's mine.
anyways,
Okay, final thoughts on the GGO arc.
I pretty much said my.
Shit kinda happened, I think, sometimes, but probably not.
I pretty much said my piece on it. It's better than the other arcs, but at the cost of being entertaining. Which I mean, it's not like a bore fest.
fuck's sake.
It's not a bore fest like 100% of the
She
time.
knows I'm streaming.
Oh my god.
Alright. No, continue.
No, it's just. It's not a bore. It's not necessarily a bore fest 100% of the time, but most of it is just. Kind of I pretty much said my piece already at this point.
Well, at least tears weren't getting licked off people's faces.
Yeah. Alpha Elm is still gonna be the worst. That's still gonna be the worst arc.
One thing this arc did was somehow make me miss Alfheim as a setting, which is kind of disturbing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess something. I didn't hate how Alfheim's setting, like, visually, I didn't mind it. Story-wise, it was complete
We
trash, but
Speaking of which, we had a disclaimer ready, and we just forgot to say it at the start.
oh, right.
Friends of the audience, friends in the audience. In the prior podcast episode about Sword Art Online, we engaged in serious criticism of the series. While we at Sea's Brain mostly stand by said criticism, we would like to make it clear that we hold no ill will to those who legitimately like Sword Art Online. Several of our members have a love-hate relationship with the series itself, and the hate side of the relationship won out while discussing season 1.
Yeah, yeah. So if like someone watching this, now or in the future, like does legitimately really enjoy SAO and it's like one of your favorite series or something, we're not trying to discourage you of that. Like, if you love this series, then keep enjoying it.
Oh, actually,
Yeah.
seeing as I've got Azzy on text,
We'll discourage you from watching Alfheim, though, because we care for your well-being.
I'll make this a point though. Like, if people watch this in the future, and you do legitimately love SAO, please let us know why, because I would like to, I would like to hear,
Azzy
a
likes
different.
SAO, and I've just asked her to comment if she
Yeah.
responds, but she is going to sleep, so she might not see the message.
Okay. But
Okay.
I would like to see a different perspective.
But here's the thing. Everyone likes SAO the first time round. So when you watch it a second time, you see cracks, which leads you to watching it a third time, which makes you see it's garbage.
Yeah, I watched season 1 in, like, one go, and I already hated it by the end, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's because you've got taste.
Why, though?
Some of us, it takes a little while, because we have the ability to not hate everything.
I mean,
We can watch stupid shit and like it.
It was a gradual process for me. When I was watching
Actually, I warned you as well that SAO is good the first time, but
Yeah.
the third time it's awful.
Yeah,
And then that got you to watch it 3 times.
No, I didn't watch
much.
it. No, I didn't watch it 3 times. I'm not that insane. I only watched it once. But I, yeah, I was I don't know, like, just watching it. Aincrad was fine. And it didn't. There are some certain instances that annoyed me, but there was nothing inherently like it's not like the worst thing ever. Alfheim was just terrible. And like I said, Gun Girl was just kind of there.
We'll give Kawahara credit for at least trying to address the issue of, well, trying to address some mental issues of the character cast. I'm not sure if it was handled as well as it could have been, but I'll give the nod for trying.
Yeah.
With that said, though, because the season 2 is structured similarly to season 1, we are actually more than halfway done discussing the show.
Yeah. So, because like.
Oh yeah, and I checked. Rika and Lisbeth are one and the same. I'm just using their avatar names because Lisbeth is what I hear in the show.
Okay.
Yeah, now, season 1 was split between Aincrad and Alfheim, somewhat, not equally, but almost equally. Season 2 is a lot more lopsided because this season has a little short 3-episode mini-arc.
Is this the Excalibur arc?
Side story 1, Caliber.
Yeah. So like, what happens after this point? They pretty much just have like some random mini adventures. There's no there's no second main plot in season 2. So it's an interesting way to take the second half. In some ways, I feel I don't know, it's weird. Like, the Excalibur arc is... There's not much really happens in it, but I like it in on the sense that it's just a gang just kind of playing an MMO and just going on an adventure. And I feel like I'd enjoy... I feel like I'd enjoy the show a bit more if it was more like this. I guess, I don't know.
It's the first arc of the show where no one gets groped or assaulted.
Yeah, again, it's just the gang kind of just playing an MMO.
Yeah, basically, Sugwa finds Lifa, whatever you want to call her.
Yeah.
Kirito's cousin tells Kirito about basically an in-game event in Alfheim online. They're gonna find the Holy Sword Excalibur in this icy world that's in Alfheim, so pretty much the entire main cast, including Sinon, but not Sugwa's friend, who, kind of did them a solid in the prior arc because, of course, they wouldn't remember having another boy.
Yeah, of course.
Kirito, his girlfriend, his adopted daughter, his other girlfriends, and Klein, who's there, go to save this frozen wasteland. There's this jellyfish elephant creature named Tonki. They don't, it's a short little thing. It's just, after all the death and depression and incest, it's actually, admittedly, a nice reprieve.
Yeah.
It's actually nice just seeing a cast kind of bouncing off one another.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing as well. Like, it's just nice seeing the cast just kind of
Okay,
bounce.
guys,
Like,
I got a statement from Azzy.
Alright.
Hey.
Alright, to read it for you, it says... as he says, it's a decent anime, but the story is too winded, but character development is kind of cool. You just don't get much, if any. My main thing is that it focuses too much on set play styles and not enough on the various skills you can develop. If they're trying to describe the type of game, if they're not, then they shouldn't use the resources and stuff they did use to be a better story developer, as you don't see that much story in it. She also wrote that drunk.
Alright.
Okay, she's not drunk, she's tipsy.
Fair enough.
Which means she's had a glass of wine. I'm sorry, Azzy.
Contribution, Azzy, and I hope you have a good night.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
So, thoughts on that statement?
I mean, it makes sense. I can
Fair.
yeah, I can respect that.
I'm in no position to judge anything.
Mm-hmm.
Except the show, I'm gonna judge it forever.
Oh, good.
Go Arceus, use judgment.
What was I going to say? She mentioned set plays. I'm not sure what that is.
There was no punctuation, and where there should have been lots. Set plays. Okay, it focuses too much on set playstyles. So, like, if you use a sword, you use a sword. If you use a bow, you use a bow.
Oh,
if
so
you're a blacksmith.
okay. So like character.
It's like
sticks with
instead of
one.
a paladin can use a sword or a mace, it's the paladin uses the fucking mace. That's it.
Yeah, okay,
He's
I can
incapable
understand.
of using.
You can't. If you're good with one weapon, that's all you're gonna use, kind of thing.
I think that's what she's trying to say.
Yeah, that goes back to my point of like Kirito
being drunk.
yeah, it's the whole. You could have him learn how to use a gun, but no, that's too hard. Whatever. Is there anything to say about the Excalibur arc, like, in specific?
Honestly, Excalibur's just fucking forgettable.
Hmm. Oh, screw this.
Okay, let me see what I can try and remember about Excalibur. Special event is happening, but the event also turns out that it could end the entire game somehow. Um, and the main characters are the only people that know what they're doing, and everyone else is doing it wrong, so they're going to end up killing everyone, deleting the game in the process, because that's how fucking events work. Like, come on,
Really?
even in Final Fantasy XIV, where something similar like that actually happened, like, it didn't end the game, it just got rebooted.
Yeah.
Also, to anyone who's watching this as an actual YouTube video, if my audio just went completely screwy at any point, yeah, my computer may have froze up and I had to drop the call. So my apologies for that.
Okay, okay.
Alright. Yeah, your audio didn't go screwy, but I think you did die for a moment, so.
Mm.
Hear you for a few seconds, so I had to drop out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm guessing the Joey was getting into how the stakes, I say with air quotes, of this arc apparently involved the virtual citizens of this one subsection of Alfheim Online being in mortal peril, but they're fine.
Oh no, it wasn't even just it wasn't just the fake citizens being in mortal peril. It was the fact that the game was going to delete itself if they failed. Well, succeeded in the way of the evil.
Yeah.
I forget which company in universe is the one who handles Alfheim's, I guess, online infrastructure.
The one that tried to rape Asuna.
Okay,
Really?
that makes sense.
Oh my god.
You know, the one with the American military contracts
God.
for experimental bioweapons and sleeper agents in Japan.
Assholes Incorporated, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
I tried getting a job there once, but they told me to fuck off.
Right.
Good.
Okay, so, yeah, fetch quest, but it's a decent one for once. Go into the icy underworld. They find a caged woman. Klein falls in love. Turns out the woman is Thor, the god of thunder. And Klein gets a hammer.
Oh yeah, he does.
And then Kira never used it, but
Yeah, of course.
and Kirito is able to pull the sword Excalibur out of the ice with much effort, causing the floor to break off and drop down a chasm. As Tonki arrives to save them, Kirito is forced to throw Excalibur into the chasm due to its heavy item weight, but Sinon uses her bow and arrow to retrieve it. See? She uses projectiles in a game about swords. It's okay.
Man.
So that's what Asdi meant.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see what she means now.
Result, the wasteland is rejuvenated and filled with fresh water and greenery. The NPCs appear and thank them for saving the world, and Kirito is rewarded with Excalibur. Meanwhile, in the real world, Kirito, Suga, and Sinon test out an audiovisual bi-directional communication probe for a mechatronics project, and I apologize if that comes out sounding like gibberish upon playback. They test out an audiovisual bi-directional communication probe for a mechatronics project to allow Yui, remember her, to interact with the real world.
Man.
The group later has lunch to
about the
celebrate
movie now,
the
right?
conclusion of the quest. I'm sorry, could you repeat that, Joey?
We're talking about the movie now, yeah?
Not yet.
No. How many short arcs were there after Gun Girl?
I didn't watch it. I watched the Excalibur one and then thought the show was over.
Oh, okay. Well, you missed out on like. I honestly think one of these short arcs is the best arc of the show, or at least, actually I might have to rethink that. I don't know. I'll I don't know. It's definitely the best of season 1 and 2. I'll say that now. Season 3, I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, group later has lunch to celebrate the conclusion of the quest, and Kirito begins his actually years-long project to start kind of creating full VR, I guess, virtual reality projection.
Yeah.
Probably trying to make Yui a hard light construct, so she can actually run around in the real world.
Yeah.
Because he's a nice daddy. Anyway, we get to the final arc of season 2, and it's like 8 episodes.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, I think it's 7 episodes.
Hmm. This was a weird instance where I think the arc had like enough episodes to be paced well, and it wasn't like it didn't get dragged out, but it also had enough time to develop properly.
Only between the first 2 seasons, this is the only arc where I would say less is more.
Yeah.
I think it feels like the more the guy puts into the longer the guy has to make an arc, the worse it turns out.
Hmm.
It's like he overworks and ends up fucking everything for a single aspect no one respects because it just gets overshadowed by the underdevelopment of everything else.
I mean, I would agree with that in seasons 1 and 2, but season 3, they literally have 2 full 26 episode seasons dedicated to one game, and it's actually well.
Yeah, but you gotta keep in mind that that's after the part where everyone says that the guy actually learned how to do his fucking job.
I mean, I guess, but still.
I mean, with a book, you can have 15 chapters, but with a show, you get 1 chapter a season sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you do it right, but then you end up with massive time skips, and oh look, SAO Season 1.
Yeah. Anyways, I think we're getting off track, because this... I do actually want to talk about this arc, because I do legitimately think this is a decent arc.
Alright, Harry, you have the floor.
Well, let's actually, like, talk about what it is about first.
Okay, it's another Alfheim arc, and it's about Asinine. No, this one is not involving her being tortured, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, what is it? Okay, first off, I should make this clear. No, the stakes here are relatively personal. They are not.
Yeah, there's no, like...
This is a personal arc.
It's not it's not like the other arcs where tons of people's lives are at stake or whatever. This is like just
so he lowers down the scope.
Yes, and that's for the most part it's to the arc's advantage.
Yeah, I honestly would like more personal arcs, like just stories like this.
You just like personal stories in the first place. So watch Beastars.
I mean, true. I mean, it depends, because I do like arcs that, like, storylines that are, like, more grandiose in scale as well. It's just the fact that, like, SAO does them so poorly that it's just, like, this one arc that's, like, so much more personal is done so well that I'd prefer the rest of the show to be like that.
I feel like personally, if I ever got off my ass and wrote a full-size book, I would probably end up writing something to the equivalent of the writing of SAO, but as a first full book that actually got finished, everyone would say, "Oh, good job," but if it actually got published, everyone would be like, "Ew, what is this garbage? You should
Yeah.
never write again."
Yeah. God.
You get it from someone who wrote like 100-page screenplay. Writing is hard.
Writing is not easy, and
Yeah.
I still am not comfortable with publishing my children's book anthology.
Hmm.
Children's book anthology?
Yeah, I've got an anthology of short children's stories that I probably could publish right fucking now if I got off my ass and copied off all this data onto my computer and edited it through.
Hmm.
But we're not here to talk about me.
Yeah.
As much as we
I
prefer
will keep
to.
that in the back of my mind.
One day I'll publish it. I
To
think
get
I might need another
writing again.
story in there, to be fair.
Yeah.
Actually, one thing before we actually continue to, if you are looking into getting into writing, I actually find it easier to write onto the notepad of my phone rather than just sitting at my computer with a blank Word document. Because at your computer, you've got a massive screen, it's kind of daunting.
Hmm.
But if you're just writing on your phone, you can write it like a text message and then edit it through later, and if you actually come up with something good, copy it onto the Word document, you've actually got something tangible to push up, and it takes away the daunting task. Until you've written 6 short stories, and you've got to copy all of them onto your computer. Then it becomes daunting again, but that's probably because of personal reasons.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I mean, they're not even long. I just need to fucking do my job. Anyway, back to Garbage Art Online.
So much for positive feelings.
Yeah.
Oh, I see how it is. You want me to continue talking about my writing.
just I just
Maybe
like
another
that we
time.
actually had. I just
Maybe
like
I'll
having
set that as
something.
an emergency podcast topic. I'll talk about my
mean-
in-progress book.
I mean, you can if you want.
Your podcast is not like I'm a
Screaming
host.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a host, but it's better than me screaming about airships for an hour.
Oh god.
Okay, so what is Mother's Rosario? That's the name of the arc, by the way. What is Mother's Rosario?
A
Yes.
stolen title from a better anime. Oh, it was rhetorical.
So I actually don't remember the opener, so I had to again rely on Wikipedia, and
Yeah.
that can be edited to say absolute malarkey. So while Kirito and Asuna reminisce about their
Hmm.
No, that is actually true. What am I on about?
Kirito and Asuna reminisce about their time in Aincrad, Andrew Gill informs them about the third update in ALO, which is unlocked the 21st through the 30th floors on New Aincrad. Oh, so they do go back to that. With the help of their friends, Kirito and Asuna manage to defeat the boss at the 21st floor, allowing them to enter the 22nd floor, where they're able to purchase their old honeymoon luck cabin again. Aww.
Yay.
Night, Asuna is told about an unbeatable player named Zekken, or Absolute Sword, who challenged and defeated many players at an island on the 24th floor.
I'm gonna place my bets.
Yes.
Kirito kicks his ass.
That thought. Lisbeth, Silica, and Lifa/Suwa share information about what they have learned about Zekken, noting that even Kirito was defeated by Zekken in the past.
Sure, that's what happened off camera, right?
Yeah.
Actually, it might have been so. Elizabeth tells Asuna that Zekken cannot be a survivor of SAO because Kirito would have lost his dual wielding technique to Zekken if that was the case. And that is information I did not even know. Kirito could lose his
because
dual
no
wielding
one knew
ability.
it.
Like, what? This is... To be fair, it has been a while since I think all of us have watched season 2.
I mean, the movie I saw more recently than season 2.
Right, but still.
Was
That's
not
how I
aware
feel
that
about
was a
you.
thing. Like,
Yeah, I didn't remember that
it's like
either.
Kirito cannot lose, or he loses the one thing that makes him unique from a combat perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, so that puts stakes on it, but at the same time, him just being awesome just stops that from the stakes from being relevant. It's like, how could he know he would have lost his magical abilities? It's like, hi plot
Missing
holes, how
something.
you been?
I feel like I'm missing something, and if
Yeah,
anyone who is more familiar with SAO than I am could help me out here, that'd be great.
yeah, I'm drawing a complete blank. I don't remember this at all.
This is a new plot element that was never explained. Maybe it was in a book.
I am
But if
too
he did
lazy
ever
to
get
actually.
defeated, then he would have lost his sword power, which means that the intel on him getting his ass handed to them, where they were probably at a front row seat, is bullshit.
Yeah, it's like,
And
oh god.
Because I would
Okay,
trust
no, the
game
intel
mechanics more than a harem.
it's just you can't.
intel
Huh?
intel is
Intel.
based off the intel is based off the idea that that Zekken can't be an old Eincrad survivor. So I'm not sure why that works. Like, how does that work? Like,
It's like, why can't
So-
he be an Ironcrad survivor?
I'm giving the game away in this case. Yeah, I don't get this, and I'm too lazy to look up the actual Sword Online fan wiki to get clarification because it's getting late and I can't keep these two up any longer.
And I think
So we're
running
gonna
out
move
of
on.
music.
Yeah,
We're gonna move on.
yeah. That's the yeah.
So,
That's yeah.
Thank
So
you for
Asuna is the
raising questions.
Asuna is the actual focus of this arc. Kirito is honestly just kind of a background player, and one of the I guess running plots of this arc is Asuna's relationship with her mom, who sucks. Like that's
I
honestly,
forgot
always
about that. I forgot about that too.
sucks. He correctly comes to the conclusion that VR MMOs are kind of trash, but
Hmm.
not exactly for the reasons you think.
Yeah.
Actually, no, she's correctly paranoid about them, but she's also the one who set Asuna up with the assaulter. What's the name?
Oh god.
Asshole's name.
Uh.
Sugo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she set him up while she set them up while she was while Asuna was in a coma because she's a great mom.
Yeah, that's totally a way to treat your daughter.
Her mom really doesn't care that much.
Yeah. God.
So basically, that's just kind of a running thing. Oh no, my mom doesn't want me to play these VR MMOs that have killed tons of people and had nearly got my boyfriend killed like a month ago.
It's like, gee, that almost sounds reasonable.
It is reasonable, but her mom set her up with Sugo, so I'm like,
Yeah, that ruins all.
I don't want to support anyone in this scenario.
Like
Maybe
that.
she didn't know.
Well, I mean,
Definitely not sorry about it.
yeah, like no one. Like, why does everyone suck?
The show really does not dwell on Asuna's trauma much.
No, not really. Doesn't really
I
dwell
don't
on.
trust the show's writers to actually address it properly, but I mean,
Hmm.
they kind of should.
Yeah.
Writers, there's one writer, and he's not good at it.
Yes, but the people handling the adaptation kind of need to step in as necessary.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Honestly, they
any-
need to step in way more often.
Yeah, they need to like.
A long conversation about how anime in general probably needs to take a bit more proactive role in actually
Yeah.
adapting things.
Yeah, I feel like a lot sometimes. Sometimes they can be a bit too faithful to a fault, where.
Like in Sword Art. Well,
Yeah.
neither.
Yeah, because it's like,
Sword Art Online is just one example out of many. But
yeah,
that's for another time.
yeah.
I mean,
Ugh.
I think people would say something along the lines of Berserk, but
Oh my god.
I can't confirm or deny that. I've never watched it.
Mm. But I feel like there's ways to have some creative liberties with with this form of media and try to make something um so try to change it in a way that works better for the medium and can make it just better in that way without like losing its integrity, I guess. I hope that made sense. I don't know.
It made
I'm
sense
just-
to me, but I'm playing Hydro Thunder.
Okay.
Anyway, what is the actual plot of this? Okay,
What's
second
the plot
episode.
of this podcast?
Non-existent.
Guys,
Good.
one of whom occasionally gets drunk, one who wishes he could get drunk. Talk about whatever they feel like.
Hmm.
What, me and Harry?
Oh, you're person A, I'm person B in this scenario.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
okay.
kill me.
Saying SAO
Like,
makes me
I don't
feel
have
drunk.
any alcohol because I'm broke. Oh, no, I have
Broke is
alcohol.
okay.
It's just in the house of someone who's isolating, but we can't talk about that because of reasons.
Hmm.
Anyway, so Kirito, no, not Kirito. He's not the main character of this. He is a non-entity. Asuna goes to the virtual island on the 24th floor and discovers that Zekin is actually a girl named Yuki Kano. And Asuna, for some reason, I think is kind of angry that Kirito didn't mention that his opponent was a cute girl for some reason. I mean, he kind of screws around with people, but not this time for once. Maybe I'm misremembering. I haven't seen this show in 5 years.
Lucky.
Goodness.
Okay, so Asuna and Yuki duel, and Yuki basically does not defeat her. She just kind of stops.
Yeah.
I guess because she recognizes her skill, and that's why she needs her for her mission.
Yeah.
So, yeah, episode called Sleeping Nights, which is the name of Yuki's guild. No, I'm not naming all of them.
No, they're just they're just peeps. People doing the good old things.
So yeah, Asuna and Yuki join up with their guild, and they need Asuna's help to defeat the boss of the 27th floor with just their party, because they get an in-game achievement for that. Which is, I can't lie, it's actually kind of cool.
Hmm.
Their guild's gonna be breaking up soon, like after the winter, so they need to kind of haul ass in this case.
Yeah. And like you'd think like that alone is like a red flag. It's like what's going on there? And yeah. We'll get to that.
Yeah, they clear the floor. Asuna gets logged out by her mom and has to go back in eventually. But then they find out that there's been they encounter what am I trying to say? I have a summary right in front of me. I can't even spit it out properly. They met a few players during their trek to the floor earlier, and they found out those players were actually scouts for a boss raid. A bunch of players who are trying to get to the boss before Asuna and Yuki's guild gets to it. And this is a non-problem because Kirito and Klein basically show up and deal with them.
With lethal force.
Klein did things because I don't.
Wait, Klein did something?
Yeah, right? Like I thought he was just
Klein's actually not incompetent. He's just got no screen time.
he has nothing to do.
He's the only decent male character in the show that isn't Kirito. So
And
that
that's
means
why
he
he's
kind of
part
has
of
to.
Kirito's harem.
God.
Exactly.
Like, you
Because
can't
Kirito
have...
would still fuck.
Probably.
Is our. He is. He tries his hardest, and I respect that.
Yeah.
What's not to respect?
No one respects him in universe.
No, not really.
The universe doesn't respect him.
Basically, yeah.
So Asuna and the Sleeping Knights are able to get to the boss room, and they're able to properly fight the boss this time.
The boss.
Boss!
Big boss.
Sorry, someone had to make it.
And they win by exploiting a weak point.
Yeah, boy. Damn it.
Have a celebration at Asuna's log house, and Asuna asks Yuki if she can be a member of the Sleeping Knights, but Yuki says no because the group's going to be disbanded soon.
Are they even driving?
Yeah.
And then they take a picture at the Monument of Swordsmen, because that's where their names are etched. And this is where things take a turn.
Yeah.
After accidentally addressing Asuna as her older sister, Yuki unexpectedly starts crying and abruptly logs out. End episode. And to the next episode, perhaps appropriately called Journey's End.
God, this...
3 days later, sorry, what now, Harry?
No, I was gonna say, this gets depressing.
3 days later, the Sleeping Knights member Siune tells Asuna to forget about ever meeting the Sleeping Knights for her own sake. After school, Asuna meets up with Kazuto.
Oh shit, yeah, I remember
Kirito,
that.
I'm not
I did
covering
watch
that.
this.
Yeah.
You did see this arc.
Yeah.
After school, Asuna meets up with Kirito, who gives her the address to a hospital where a virtual reality gaming console called the Medicuboid is undergoing clinical trials. At the hospital, Asuna meets Yuki's primary care physician, Dr. Kurahashi, who explained that the Medicuboid is designed for patients in terminal care, and that Yuki suffers from AIDS due to an infection via blood transfusion during her mother's labor complications. She has been put in a sterile room to avoid the risk of further infection and has been permanently hooked up to the Medicuboid for 3 years. Asuna breaks down into tears after learning that Yuki does not have very long to live, but Yuki communicates with Asuna via the Medicuboid, verifying that she can hear and see Asuna. Using the Atmosphere in the next room to log into the game, Asuna rushes to the place where she first met Yuki in ALO. Yuki reveals that the Sleeping Knights are all patients in terminal care, being the reason why they needed Asuna to help them finish one last quest before Yuki's impending death.
Yeah.
This is a swerve. Yeah, ignoring the fact that they're in the future and actually I can't even say that anymore.
Yeah, the music ended.
Oh, I can't even hear it. But this show takes place in the early to mid 2020s, and that's no longer distant future anymore.
Yeah, I remember, like, it's scarily close now. In, like, at this point.
Somewhat prescient. They perfected VR. They perfected VR, sort of, and they still have not cured AIDS. That's
That's
great.
depressing.
Really cool.
Cool, bros.
Remember this, but I did not know that Yuki, like her whole guild, was all in terminal care. I remember Yuki.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
One
I
of
didn't
them
know.
played a bug simulator where everyone's bugs and got creeped out by it, and then that's why they moved to
Hello.
AOL.
Yeah, I didn't know it was everyone in the guild, but yeah.
I thought it was like Yuki and like 2 other people who were dealing with some illness that they didn't really specify. But I guess I was wrong. All right, so Asuna takes the audiovisual bi-directional communication probe, remember that, to give Yuki the experience of attending school for a day.
Oh
Yuki
yeah.
requests
Remember
Asuna
it
to
was
take her to
school.
her old house. Yuki requests Asuna to take her to her old house to see it one last time, since the house will be demolished soon. And, yeah, this...
God.
Yes, for context, Yuki's family is... His sister is deceased. She succumbed to an illness also. And parents passed as well, and her other immediate relatives just don't live near her, so she's just by herself, really.
Yeah. God damn, this is depressing.
Gotta love the fact that we're talking about this while we got freaking Deja Vu playing.
Also, Asuna logs her mom into ALO just to see what it's like.
Oh yeah, that was like a side thing that happened, yeah.
Asuna's mom's avatar looks significantly younger than her real self for some reason.
And
Probably
what I
because she
remember.
designed it that way for some reason.
no, it's just anime magic.
It's an avatar.
I mean, yeah, but still, still.
Everyone in this show usually looks facially like themselves. They might change their hair color, but
Yeah.
Granted, to be
You can
fair, if
generally
you
tell.
swapped out the hairstyles between characters, you'd end up with just different heighted versions of characters.
Anyways, going off track. Because I want you to finish talking about the arc before I say my piece on it.
so let's see. Oh yeah, the Asuna and her mom reconcile, sort of. And that subplot is thankfully done with. Several months later, Asuna receives an urgent message from Dr. Kurahashi that Yuki's condition has deteriorated. Asuna rushes to the hospital and requests Dr. Kurahashi to hook Yuki up to the Medicuboid one last time. Asuna meets Yuki at the island in ALO, and Yuki creates a scroll containing her original sword skill and gives it to Asuna. And all of Yuki's and Asuna's friends and allies arrive to see Yuki in her final moments in-game,
Oh,
fulfilling
God.
Yuki's wish for all her loved ones to come see her before she dies. So yes, they hold an in-game funeral for her,
And that's the end of the arc, or?
ostensibly. After Yuki's real-world memorial service, Asuna meets Yuki's real-life persona, and she reveals that she's been discharged from the hospital because her treatment for leukemia worked. She's in remission. Asuna and Tsune learned from Kirito and Dr. Kurahashi about the idea of applying the audiovisual bidirectional communication probe, good gravy, for medical technology purposes, thanks to Yuki's contributions. Asuna is later surprised to learn that the Medicuboid designs came from a benefactor, Rinko Kojiro, the doctor who monitored Akihiko Kayaba during the SAO incident, thus revealing that Akihiko Kayaba was the inventor of the Medicuboid because, of course, his ghost is to haunt us, even in this season.
Yeah, he always has to be there, like, why
How
can't they...
did he even die?
In-game and SAO.
Something,
Kirito.
yeah, something about, like,
Kirito murdered him.
this... Something like that. It's like, if my game gets cleared, I end up dying, or something. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Why?
It doesn't matter.
Ugh.
Kirito and Asuna join their friends for a picnic photo after discussing how the virtual world has benefited them in the real world. And they really like to whitewash this asshole Kayaba.
Yeah, like, it's like, oh, he was a complete, like, jerk, for putting us in this situation, but, oh man, he's great. God, the hell.
He was a monster, but he sure knew how to code a good AI.
Yeah. Anyways, is that everything then? Is it time for?
Season 2, it's over. It's
Okay.
finally over.
Okay, so my piece is the stuff with Asuna and her mother is like less so focusing on that and more so the stuff with Yuki. That stuff I think is like some of the best like just writing in this show because it doesn't have the issue that the characters in Aincrad had where they get introduced for like an episode or two and then they just get killed off immediately. You get a good chunk of time just kind of being around Yuki and just her team members in general, and you just generally have like the cast like just grow a bond with her and whatnot, and it makes the fact that like she's like pretty much on death's like bed at that point. It's just it makes it actually hit home for me because the way it's done is I think for what this shows, for what it's worth, I think it's done really well. Like even not even just for this show, but just in general. I think they did a good job with it, and the fact that like you get to spend all that time with Yuki before you even know she's like terminally ill is just makes it hit more. It makes it hit home a lot more because it's not something you're expecting, and I don't know, like the whole like having her have like a funeral in game and just seeing everyone for like one last time, just the whole thing in general just really struck a chord with me, I guess. And I mentioned in part 1 that there was like one arc that actually got to me. This is the one I was talking about because I have
I remember this being short but good.
yeah, because it's like I can make fun of like the other arcs like from like over and over. Like it's really easy for me to make fun of the rest of this show, but I just don't have the conscience to do it with this one. Like it's it's such a serious subject, and just I think it's done in a way that it's just kind of touching, and just kind of heartbreaking as well. And it's done. I think it's the way it's done is like, I don't want to say in good taste because it's like
It never is. This is
it never is. But like, it's not the well, it's not the case as SAO, but like you can I don't.
It's just not in good taste.
I don't know if you can ever say that doing a story of a subject matter like this is ever going to be in good taste, but I think the way they handled it is mature.
Granted, it's better than other examples that I can't come up with.
Yeah. It's like
Because the majority of people would just prefer to not even bother than to do something this, I'm gonna say, daring.
yeah, it's a very serious subject matter. And like if this was done in a way, if we just saw Yuki for like 2 episodes, it probably wouldn't.
It
Like,
would have been probably insulting.
yeah, like if it was done like the Aincrad deaths, then I probably wouldn't pay any attention to it. But like the fact that they spent a whole arc building
One
her.
episode in season 1 where everyone just instantly dies. It's like,
God, that was so bad.
feel bad.
Yeah, and the fact that they try and force you to feel bad about it, and you just don't care because like it's not enough time for those characters to develop, and that's the complete opposite with this arc. And
It's like
yeah.
some guy just came out of nowhere holding up a cue card that said "show emotion."
Yeah. But like, yeah, it's the fact that like you spend so much time just building up Yuki and her crew. So like the fact that like when you learn of like the situation she's in and like the whole funeral thing and whatnot, I can't speak for everyone, but I legitimately got sad because like Yuki was proven to be just a generally fun character to be around, and just seeing her in that situation and just passing is just depressing. Like, especially when you consider all the other circumstances. Like, was it like her sister has already passed as well?
Her sister was also a member of the guild, and
Passed away before they managed to clear a floor.
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah, and then like the fact that she's not with like anyone in the real world, and like all this, it's just the whole story is just really depressing, and like, God, the fact that like something from SAO can evoke some like that kind of emotion from me, kind of shows that if they actually try, they have the potential to make something great in this show, but they just a lot of the time they just don't. And this is like a diamond in the rough. Like this is like, I legitimately don't have anything bad to say about this. Like the other stuff not related to Yuki maybe, but that stuff is negligible at best.
I'd say it's more like a diamond in category 20 sandpaper.
Sure, we'll go with that. But yeah, it's pretty easy to forget about the other things going on. But in just the main plot with Yuki, I just think is like one of, if not the best arc of the show, personally. And yeah, if there's one arc I can recommend of this show, I think that would be the one. That's that's
So
pretty much what I have to say.
Yuki grants her sword to Asuna, and that is their mother's Rosario.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything else to add to all that, or?
Admittedly, not as hot on this arc as you are, but it's fine. I don't think like SAO has at this point had the capacity to deal with the subject matter, but
Yeah. The fact that like they managed to deal with it in like so tactfully is just really surprising, considering this is the same show that did Alfhelm Online. God.
Just gonna post something in here as a joke.
But I would also say this, as much as as I and all of us make fun of SAO, I can be positive about it when the time calls for it.
this is, I mean, this is. What am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? You mentioned the issue of characters in Aincrad basically being introduced just a die.
Yeah.
And Yuki thankfully has, screen time and a personality to avoid those initial problems.
Yeah. Like, if all the deaths were like Yuki, where they had time to develop, so you care when that inevitably happens, then it could be great.
But it's not.
Yeah, this is not the world we live in.
Arc is still pretty short.
True,
It's only
but
7 episodes.
true.
And Yuki basically has she has, I don't know, what am I trying to say? She introduced just a die. She does kind of. I guess I can't. What am I trying to say?
It's, you can take time to gather your thoughts together. It's fine.
I mean, I could always say that PS5 specs got announced between the episodes of the podcast.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch that stream.
I did. Basically, the guy got hard on for SSDs.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's it. It was hilarious. It's like, don't ever touch me or my SSDs ever again, you peasant.
Oh no, it's like that Havoc presentation that the guy edited in the Sonic 06 playthrough. And then...
Yeah, but no, it's like this guy who was presenting, he was the next Steve Jobs, and all he was talking about was the solid state drive in the PS5, and I'm like,
It was Mark
"Leave me
Cerny
as
or...
far."
It was like Mark Cerny or something, I think.
Yeah, but seriously, I would happily fall asleep to him reading ASMR roleplays.
You know the whole thing of I'm gonna eat the level designer of Crash 2?
No, because you just got there.
No, you remember the whole thing of like you wanted to eat the level designer of Crash 2's face?
Oh yeah, when I completely lost my shit because I'm not good at platformers.
You know what? You wanna know the best part?
What?
Mark Cerny is the level designer of Crash 2.
Wait, that guy?
Yes.
He's the level designer, but he did executive produce Crash 2.
Yeah. So you found your culprit.
I found him at last.
Love him.
I shall consume his face pizza. This joke brought to you by Borderlands. No, you want a good story-based game, I recommend Tales of Borderlands. Anyway, we were at a position in which Scrappy was talking about SAO and then lost his thoughts for us to talk about SSDs for about 5 seconds, so where were we?
Lost in thoughts all alone.
Oh.
Yes,
Yeah,
take
so-
a shot.
Yeah, take a shot.
God.
Moving
That
on.
joke will die with me if I can make it.
Frig me. Stop.
For fuck's sake, what is this? My
Oh,
only
no.
freaking YouTube career that never took off.
No, did you have anything else to add about the Yuki thing, or?
Yuki is a prop. She's a better prop than the jobbers in Aincrad.
Yeah.
She is there for Asuna.
Yeah. I think my thing with it is the fact
7
that
episodes is enough, but
Yeah.
I think we could have had a little more.
I suppose, but I think it's just enough to make it work. And I mean, this.
Make it if we try.
Yeah. The thing of me with this arc is that this is an example of like what could have been. Like if the rest of the show was like this, then I probably would legitimately enjoy the show, but it just isn't. like it's an example of what I want this show to be like, I guess.
Realize Mega Man 10 is a bullet hell on the ground, basically.
A little bit.
I swear to God, we're just trying to find excuse to not talk about this anymore. So should we move on then?
Yeah, I
Seeing
don't-
as
I don't
We're
f-
finding it impossible to say what some people are trying to say.
Do you have anything else to say about this arc before we? I pretty much said my piece.
I feel like it was a good arc. I just barely remember it. Like,
Fair
I
enough.
remember the bad stuff better than I remember the good because I don't even fucking know why. I don't know. Human
I
nature.
mean-
Let's go with that.
Overall,
Yeah.
season 2 is just it's passable.
Yeah. It starts off.
Eh.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's nothing offensive about it like season 1, but there are some instances where it is just kind of plain boring.
What
Like
can say
every other episode of the first arc.
Basically.
It's like something happened, and then the thrilling conclusion. Bureaucracy. But then something happened, and the thrilling confusion. More bureaucracy. It's like Star Wars Episode 2.
Yeah.
Like, Episode 1, cool shit happened, everyone was like, okay, cool, this is awesome. And then Episode 2 happened, everyone was like, fuck the prequels. And then Episode 3 happened, it's over, Anakin, I have the high ground. Except imagine that for, what, 8 episodes?
It's over, Anakin. I have a higher elevation of ground than you.
Anakin, you have been defeated by my elevation upon this rocky terrain.
God.
It's all ogre, Anakin. I have the swamp.
Oh God.
I have the swamp.
Get out of my swamp.
Yeah, my swamp, Anakin.
The hell? What is this podcast even?
What are you
Well,
doing in my swamp, Anakin?
Oh.
It's just us
Season
trying to find
2.
excuses to not talk about this. So in 2 weeks, I'll find a different topic that we can probably actually enjoy talking about.
Yeah.
Uh,
So Star Wars sequels. Let's go. No.
At least we can actually talk about that.
that is our emergency subject.
No, it's not, because we can't get anyone in to do it in the first place.
Anyways,
It's also not relevant anymore.
well, I mean, we're gonna have to talk about Star Wars.
Stars remain.
We're gonna talk about Star Wars at
One
some
day.
point. Anyways, are we just gonna go to the movie?
I haven't
movie
seen it,
happened.
so I guess.
So this movie is crap.
Tell us how you really
Dark
feel, Harry.
Knights.
It's totally the best thing I've ever seen. Like, forget like Toy Story 2, forget whatever other movie you can
Mate,
think
this
of.
thing's so good, it's better than Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh my god.
Not sponsored.
Ah, we're not sponsored, otherwise we have money.
We don't get paid.
Exactly.
So
Anyways,
if you want to donate to my... No.
anyways, just you can quickly do the summary. I don't know how long this is gonna take. Hopefully not much. There's not much to say about this film.
I haven't seen it, Harry. You're gonna have to summarize.
Okay, quick summary. They stopped playing VR MMOs because there's AR MMO which uses an adapted version of the Nerve gear to work in AR instead of VR comes out, and so they're jumping around like gravity doesn't exist, even though it's still fucking reality, but it's... So
Yeah.
they're basically running around the street like idiots fighting holograms. But then
Yeah.
there's this antagonist, I guess I kind of forgot because they're
I
just
don't
not
remember.
fucking important.
I don't
But
remember a
because of the
lot
fact
of
that the
it.
technology is a nerve gear, they turn it into one at the end for the thrilling conclusion where they just fight in SAO again. How the fuck they got there, I don't know.
Okay. I'm starting to piece together what the plot is. So basically, like you were saying, it's like AR, and they pretty much just got in like a lot of the bosses from Aincrad like into the thing, and was it the whole thing is that this guy's daughter died in Aincrad and like pretty much recreated her into like this artificial pop idol or something. So that's a thing.
So he turned his dead daughter into Hatsune Miku 2.0.
Yeah, pretty much. And like she's just kind of there dancing while fights go on most of the time.
But she's fully sentient, I swear.
Yeah, it's weird. So that's
Because
a
they
thing.
have
Like I
advanced
missed
AI
something.
technology, they just don't fucking use it for anything.
Yeah, so that's a thing, and this is AR, and Kirito's like not like physically fit, so he's for like
Yeah, because he spends his whole life lying in bed playing video games.
yeah, so like this is like for the start of this, I was like, this might actually be okay, and like for like the half of it, Kirito is like completely out of his element, and that's all fine. I don't remember a lot of the stuff that goes on. Like, I remember like most of the main plot elements, but everything that happens is just a blur to me. So for the sake of just
I swear to God, it sounds more and more like you just want Kirito to play Twister.
okay,
And Harry knows what I mean.
yeah, we'll probably talk about that show one day. But
We'll need a third person that actually knows what the fuck it's about.
yeah,
Hey, Scrappy, you've got an open weekend?
oh god.
Fortunately, yes.
Then watch it.
Watch what?
Or watch Beastars and get Harry to watch that, and we can talk about that instead because it's a much better show.
I mean,
I mean, ReZero is amazing, but Beastars
yeah,
not sponsored.
clearly. Anyways, what do you remember about the movie, Joey? Before we just kind of skip stuff.
No, that's what I remember.
That's all right.
That's what I remember. I don't remember fuck all.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's pretty much the extent of my memories as well. So, like, what happens... I don't
The
even...
movie's just utterly inconsequential.
Like, a bunch of random crap happens. Danger, crap.
And
I
then
don't
they
care.
fight a dragon on the top of Ironcrad when they turn on VR mode.
Oh, before we get to the... Well, I mean, like, that happens. The thing is, though, like, Kirito... I don't know what the circumstances were, but like something happens to where he just kind of goes around the whole country, like defeating all these bosses like they're nothing. It's like
Because he's just that cool.
it's just like I'm suddenly like super good, even though like 10 minutes ago I was struggling really badly.
Yeah, there's this freaking jump cut, I have to assume.
Yeah. And it's like
It's not even a good jump cut because it's a smooth transition into like a year later.
yeah, it just kind of happens. And the funny thing is that the first time he fights, I don't remember his name, so I'm just gonna call him Antagonist Man. The first Bob. I think he fights him once earlier on in the film, and he like completely gets
his ass kicked.
Yeah, he gets his ass kicked. And then the second time he fights him, which mind you is after he's fought like a ton of bosses and he's like not breaking a sweat. And then he's just like, "Oh, I'm going to fight you now." And then he's suddenly on par with him, and it's like, okay. what are stakes in this show if you can suddenly just be...
Well, you see, he's a beta.
Damn it.
Which means he's just that good.
It's like there's no stakes in this show because it's like as long as the plot calls for it, he's just gonna be God and just win everything. So like why should I care about anything that happens? God.
Inform those of you watching that this movie is in continuity with the show proper.
Yeah, this is canon, unfortunately. Yeah. The one thing I will say that made me go, oh, that was cool. The fight in the VR section that Jerry was talking about. I think Asuna at one point uses Yuki's sword skill, and you see her for like a brief second as like a silhouette. So that was pretty cool. But besides that, this movie's
speaking of sword skills, they only exist when the plot fucking demands it.
Pretty much.
And the plot has to basically kill someone to get it to work.
Yeah. And it's like... That's like the only...
evidently took 2 blood sacrifices, but...
Yeah. But like, that's the only thing I can think of where I was like, oh, that was a cool moment. Everything else is just like... Why? Like, it's just... This movie is just so bad. Like, the VR
Not 8 is bad either.
Yeah, because it's like the AR concept is like, oh, it's another instance of Kirito being out of his element, and for half of the movie, the half of the film, the movie actually does that, but like, for whatever reason, he's just powers through at the end without any kind of getting better montage or anything. He's just better because yes,
It's 3 a.m.
God. Woo! Where, like, it's isn't. I really don't have much to say about the film. I don't even remember most of it. It's just bad.
The only reason I was looking forward to talking about it the whole time is because it meant when we finally finished that, I can go the fuck to sleep.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Which I
yeah,
wanted to do 3 hours ago, but unfortunately I developed obligations.
yeah. The only the other thing that happens is like I think I don't remember if there's a post credit scene or whatever, but it's
Three
basically
credits.
it's basically a stinger ending where it's like, oh, we have new technology or whatever, and it's like
We have the technology. We can rebuild him.
it's pretty much just a stinger ending into season 3. But
And
yeah,
involves our good friend Kikuoka,
yeah, that dude. So
government asshole.
that happened. It's not the worst thing I've seen, but it's easily skippable.
It's so canon you can just skip to season 3.
And yeah, season 3. I was gonna say this. We're not gonna do season 3 right away because the series isn't actually finished.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah, for starters, Jerry hasn't seen it yet, and second, they're doing like 2 seasons in like again this one game, and I think it would be better if we waited for the series to just be fully over before we talk about it, because one, we need a break from this damn show, and two, I'd prefer to actually talk about it when it's finished, because it just feels
I
better.
do have words for that show when a time comes.
There's a lot to say about it, a lot good, a lot bad, but we'll get to it.
In the meantime, what do you guys kind of want to do in 2 weeks?
Gosh,
Hmm.
discuss it later.
Dig the list up.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because if you guys spend time either watching, well, if Scrappy either watches ReZero or if both of you watch Beastars, we could do either of them.
Mm-hmm.
Long as Beastars.
Not very long. I think it's like 8 episodes, but there's a guaranteed season 2 when that happens.
8 episodes. Huh.
Is
It's not long.
ReZero like 13? I forget.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Okay.
But then with ReZero, before you watch it, take my advice, and without any context, I'm going to tell you, when you get past parts of it, consider that as a finishing of a chapter.
It will make more sense when
Keep
you.
that in mind.
It will make more sense
It makes
when you
a
watch
lot
it.
more sense if you consider it as chapters than as, oh my god, this feels so long, but nothing's actually happened.
Yeah. And,
Alright, we got through second season and the prerequisite anime movie where nothing happens but something happens.
yeah,
Every anime has to have one.
indeed.
Alright, Beastars is 12 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought it was shorter.
Alright, so next time we'll just find something to talk about, I guess.
I want to do something like more recent, honestly. Or we could talk about a video game.
Yeah.
This is a video game podcast?
This is we can do whatever the fuck we want because it's a multimedia
we
podcast.
we could
We
literally
could talk about freaking Moby Dick if we wanted to.
no, we could literally
That's actually true, we could.
yeah. I mean, we could also just we could literally just talk about like cans of paint if we wanted.
I'll accept it.
Technically, because art.
Yeah. I mean,
Art is a medium. We could talk about the fucking daily newspaper. Like, each of us just grab one newspaper and be like, okay.
I mean, we could like you literally
We get
talk.
monetized because of what's going on in the global news right now, but
I mean, we could literally talk about like fan fiction or something like like
we
any.
could talk about my book.
Yeah, so there's no
Hell, I
limit.
could fucking just flat out read my book.
We don't really have like a genre we're sticking with. We're just kind of do it. Whatever. As long as we have stuff to talk about, we're just gonna do whatever.
Honestly, like in the last podcast we ran, it was a gaming podcast where we occasionally talked about televised media,
Yeah.
but it was still anything that you could do in your bedroom. Say if you had an Xbox plugged in,
We could talk about porn if we want. No, no, we're not doing
we
that.
really could.
We're not doing that.
We could talk about Project Melody if you really wanted to. So
I
let's
mean-
do that.
I mean, if we did that, it would I don't think Scrappy would want to be around for it.
Okay, but quick thing about that. She recently started a Twitch channel. I think on her first Twitch stream, she made a comment saying half the time she didn't know what to do because she would have just jiggled her tits.
Oh my
I
god.
shit you not, I swear she said something like that.
Alright, well,
But that's not important.
yeah. Before this gets into a weird,
It already did.
before this goes further down the rabbit hole, should we just end today?
Alright, I have been host 1 or Alpha or A.
So I'm Beta, I guess.
That would be Beta Bravo 2.
Nice.
Alright. And Scrappy would be host Charlie. Beta
Sure.
would be Harry, and I would be Joe.
Nice.
Thank you for watching. I don't think I could make this a weirder end if I tried. Honestly, it's giving me a headache. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll chat to you next time.
Bye bye. I'll end my stream as well.
Well, folks,
Alright. Oh boy, okay,
it's been
well.
defeated.